Hi, Max Brantley of the Arkansas Times on Thursday, August the 11th. News in Arkansas today includes Mark Martin, the Secretary of State, actually obeying the law. Yes, the Secretary of State has decided, perhaps under pressure from Attorney General Leslie Rutledge, for herself acting for once on the right side of the law, to reply to FOI requests from us, the Arkansas Democrat Gazette and the Democratic Party, about what led him to distribute a flawed list of more than 7,700 names of people who could perhaps be stricken from the voter rolls by county clerks. He's sent a long letter to county clerks this week, his office has, that says it wasn't his fault that this thing happened. He only did his duty, and it was up to the county clerks to make sure that people were eligible to vote. But he suggested some pathways to make sure that people aren't wrongly denied the right to vote as his initial action perhaps would have made happen. Still more to be learned in that case, but at least there's a step in the right direction. Sad news in Northeast Arkansas, great drama developing. 3 Arkansas State University students are missing after going caving in the Blowing Springs Cave near Cushman in Independence County. They're led by a somewhat experienced cave explorer from that part of the world. He's with 2 Japanese exchange students who have been searching for them for more than a day. It's a cave that's not fully mapped. It can be dangerous, more as we know it. Jim Harris, the Chief of Staff to State Treasurer Dennis Milligan, is in a trial in federal court now, accused of defamation by an employee who was fired by that office. Harris wrote an email about him that said some derogatory things. Testimony was interrupted this morning when Jim Harris began having chest pains. He has a history of heart problems. He left for a hospital. He's being checked there. Still no further word on his condition, although he was talking and ambulatory when he left with paramedics. The lawyer for the David Singer, who's brought the suit, wants the case dismissed. He thinks this episode will stir sympathy for Harris. The judge was not happy with some of the things Souter said. He thought that was insensitive, to put it mildly. The Arkansas Healthcare Association, which is the lobby for Arkansas Nursing Home, has basically agreed with a complaint filed with Matt Campbell, a Little Rock lawyer, that they're required under state law to provide specifics about who provided the money to the pot they've contributed into the amendment that will put a cap on lawsuit damages and make it all but impossible to sue nursing homes for abuse and negligence. The details in those reports show that Surprise Michael Morton, the major nursing home baron from Fort Smith, probably contributes about a third of the more than $300,000 the Nursing Home Association has contributed. He himself has contributed at least $125,000 or more. Read our cover story in Arkansas Times this week about Martin's influence on the effort to make it very difficult to sue nursing homes over mistreatment. You'll remember a judge has been convicted of accepting a bribe for reducing a jury verdict of $5 million to $1 million in a neglect case against the Morton Nursing Home in Greenbrier. The State Board of Education Department is hearing today from the Mineral Springs School District in Hempstead County, all black. It says that the state board and department has taken actions that has encouraged segregation, particularly through the School Choice Act, which no longer discourages transfers strictly for racial reasons. It is contesting an academic distress finding in the state board. It also has a lawsuit pending in which it says the school transfer law is unconstitutional because it supports and promotes segregation and was intended to do that. The state says this is balderdash, and certainly the State Board of Education is continuing to approve just about all school transfer appeals that come before the board, regardless of what the school district's history on segregation might have been. Here's a scorecard on the Donald Trump episode in which he seemed to suggest a Second Amendment solution for Hillary Clinton. 2 Arkansas politicians did themselves great dishonor, Asa Hutchinson, the governor, and Senator John Bozeman, by wholly defending what Donald Trump said and said anybody who saw it as a bad thing and anything but an encouragement of gun rights people to vote are simply wrong. Bruce Westerman, the congressman from the 4th District, saw it differently. He said the remark was inappropriate and that he should have said things better. That was certainly a more honest assessment if he could have been more critical and still been honest. Speaking of the presidential campaign, Senator Cory Booker is going to be in Little Rock Saturday. He's going to be on hand for the opening of a Hillary Clinton campaign office on Cantor Road in the Tanglewood Shopping Center. Nice to know she's making some effort to contest Arkansas. Surely she can beat Barack Obama's 37% here in 2012. Do you think? Maybe, maybe not. Here's some business news. The Little Rock Port has received a $6 million grant to expand its Slackwater Harbor. They think this will mean a lot more import-export business for the port, a vital economic cog in the city. And here's another piece of news. It looks like the special interest forces of the Stevens financial empire are going to be successful in ending the Metro Center Improvement District, which has paid in for a lot of improvements downtown and does some additional maintenance to make the downtown sharp. Some of this work is finally paying off. The Stevens don't want to pay taxes anymore on their property, and they got the Little Rock Tech part, which is a publicly funded entity, to go along. It's too bad other major cities have these sorts of improvement districts. Doesn't look like Little Rock will. There had been a proposal pending to expand the district to even out the tax burden and maybe do even more downtown. Doesn't look like that's going to happen now. The good news is that Warren Stevens, the head of the Stevens empire, does seem to be willing to have the Henry Moore statue stay in town and be turned over to city ownership, so I guess we can be happy for that. And what would be a day without another Mike Huckabee Huckup? Mike Huckabee was tapped to introduce Donald Trump at a rally in Florida. He used it for one of his patented laugh lines. He made a joke about Zika. Yes, a joke about a virus that has produced deadly birth defects among women who've contracted it. Not a funny subject, certainly not in Florida, and this is a man some people in Florida think ought to be governor. We've been down the road with his laugh lines in this banana republic. Trust me, it's not very funny. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.